Look, snow. Snow in July. Hey everybody. So Olive and I are driving through the national park, through Mount Rainier, and it is crowded. It's a Monday and it is packed. Olive and I went to Mount Rainier today, and I didn't do any research. Well, I had in the past, but I didn't do any research right before we came because, well, for one, I thought we were going in a group and we would just kind of figure it out as we go. And the other thing is, we had no reception for several days beforehand, so I would have done a little bit of research. So I don't want this to be a video where I just gripe, but there are some positives and negatives about going to Mount Rainier, and let's start with positives. So it was stunningly gorgeous, like I think probably just as pretty as Yosemite, and maybe prettier because it's lusher. One thing about Washington and Oregon is that they have the undergrowth. You know, under the trees, it's all full of lush green growth and flowers and things. And in Yosemite and places down there, not so much. It's more just about the trees, and the floor of the forest is kind of more brown. So yeah, in a way, it's almost more beautiful because it's just lush. The ground, the trees, everything. It's really beautiful. The flowers are amazing. There are just flowers everywhere and all different types. Okay, but now the negatives. So right off the bat, I knew that Olive wouldn't be able to go on any trails. We wouldn't be able to go into the forest. You know, it's very limited for national parks when you have a dog. And they also say you cannot leave your dog in the car. Now, I think this is just on hot days, and that should go without saying, but it is listed on, you know, their information pamphlet and stuff like that. Today wasn't a real hot day, and especially when you get up in elevation, because Mount Rainier is over 14,000 feet. Not that I was going to go to the top, but even most of the sites are very high elevation, so it was pretty cool. There was still snow on the ground, so Olive was not at risk of overheating. So my plan was well, actually in the morning we did, you know, a longer hike, and she played a bit on the beach, on the river, and I always try to do that anytime I know I'm going to be leaving her in the van for, more than a little bit. I try to take her on an extra long walk or something. And so I knew that I would only be able to let her out to potty pretty much right around the parking areas. That's basically all that's allowed. But the crowds continued on. Like the first several spots, there were lines out of the little parking areas for people waiting just to get into the parking lots. And that was pretty much the case throughout the whole park. Even the little turnoffs that didn't even really have a view all had at least one vehicle in them. And then you get up to the Paradise, I forget what it's called, Paradise something. And it's the area where the old historic lodges and just a really beautiful area. And that had a really large parking lot. It actually had 2 parking lots, maybe more. And then, which were both completely packed, and kind of like at Yosemite, people were just lines of people just sitting in the parking lot in their vehicles waiting for something to open up. So it's like you couldn't even back out of your spot. And then the road going away from it had parking, a little bit of parking on the sides. That went down the road for a good mile of people walking back up the road to see the lodge and stuff. So I think we only got out of the car one time in the whole park, and the park is big. It took quite a long time to get across the park. I think just one pull-off that was extra large and didn't have a lot. Well, it still had a lot of people in it, but there were still a few spots open when we went by. So we got out there, and that was it. So that was a big negative, and that's pretty much the case with most national parks these days. Is even when you go on the weekdays, it is just packed. So not much you can do about it. The other thing was, it was a beautiful day. It was sunny, but the clouds were kind of low and didn't get even a single peak of Mount Rainier the entire time. Considered sitting in one of the lots and waiting for it to see if it would clear up, but I couldn't even get a parking spot, so that was out of the question. So overall, gorgeous place. Definitely worth a visit if you don't mind the dealing with the crowds and the filled parking lots and all that. I find it okay if you are willing to do some hikes that were, and go a little bit further out, because most people don't do that. So you could definitely get away from the crowds if you're willing to do one of the, a little bit longer hike and get some amazing views. The views usually get better as you go further down the trails. But again, I have an Olive and she can't go on the paths. So, and I wasn't going to leave her in, well, for one, I couldn't even park. Second, I didn't want to leave her for a long time in the van. I was thinking about, if I was able to park, I was going to do, like a short hike, maybe a mile, and be back pretty quickly. But couldn't even do that. So, Mount Rainier, beautiful, but kind of a bust. And was going to spend another day there, like camp outside in the National Forest again, and then come back through. I can't imagine tomorrow will be drastically different, so I'm going to skip it. Kind of sad, but oh well. I can scratch it off my bucket list. One more national park, which I think my total is up to maybe 15 national parks now. So I've seen more than most people. I do love them. I'm kind of a national park geek. So now I don't know where we're off to be honest with you. We've separated from the group now. Aja had to do some things to her RV that couldn't really wait. Dane and Steve, I'm not totally sure where they went. And the others have all scattered to different places. And so, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be another adventure for us. But tonight, we have to find some parking for sleeping. So, we'll see what happens.